For years, AirDrop has been that one iPhone feature Android users quietly envied. You're standing with friends, everyone's sharing photos instantly, and you're stuck sending files through WhatsApp or Google Drive. Well, that wall is finally cracking, and now even more Pixel phones could be next. Before we jump in, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. It really helps me keep bringing you more tech breakdowns like this one. Until recently, Google surprised everyone by announcing that Pixel phones could finally share files directly with iPhones using an AirDrop-style experience. But there was a catch. This feature was locked to the Pixel 10 series only. If you owned a Pixel 9, Pixel 8, or anything older, you were still watching from the sidelines. Now here's the big update. Signs suggest Google is preparing to bring this feature to the Pixel 9 series as well. And that matters way more than it sounds. File sharing is one of those everyday things you don't think about until it's annoying. It's not flashy, it's not a headline spec, but it affects how comfortable your phone feels in the real world. When one ecosystem can share instantly and the other can't, friction builds. That friction is exactly what's kept many people locked into iPhones for years. According to a new report, system files required for Android to iPhone QuickShare have been spotted inside the latest Android Canary build for the Pixel 9 series. Specifically, build ZP11251.212.007 includes the same underlying components that enable AirDrop-style sharing on the Pixel 10. That's a strong hint that Google is actively testing this feature beyond its newest flagship. However, there are a few important details to clear up. First, these files were found on the Pixel 9 series, but not on the Pixel 9a. Google's more affordable Pixel model seems to be left out for now. Second, older devices like the Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro don't show any sign of this feature yet. So, while this isn't a full rollout, it's a meaningful step. What this really tells us is that Google wasn't just making empty promises when it said the feature would come to older Pixel phones. The groundwork is happening quietly in the background. The big unknown is timing. Google hasn't shared an official timeline, which makes things tricky. Based on how Google usually operates, there are two realistic possibilities. This feature could arrive as part of Android 16 QPR3, or Google might save it for a larger rollout with Android 17. Both options are plausible, and neither would be surprising. What's still unclear is whether Google will roll this out selectively again, like Pixel 10 first, then Pixel 9, or push it across multiple Pixel generations at once. Given Google's track record, either approach is on the table. Now let's talk about the part that makes this story even more interesting: how AirDrop suddenly works with Android at all. For the longest time, AirDrop was built on Apple's own proprietary technology called Apple Wireless Direct Link, or AWDL. This protocol powered Apple's continuity features and was completely closed off to other platforms. That's why AirDrop stayed exclusive to Apple devices for so many years. The turning point came from the European Union. In early 2025, the EU ruled that Apple would need to adopt the Wi-Fi Aware standard instead of relying solely on AWDL. Starting with iOS 26 and iPadOS 26, Apple was required to support this open standard, and that changed everything. Wi-Fi Aware is actually part of Android since version 8.0. That means most Android phones already support the underlying tech. Once Apple adopted it, Android's QuickShare and Apple's AirDrop could finally speak the same language. The result? Pixel phones can now share files directly with iPhones as long as the Apple device is running iOS 26 or later. No third-party apps, no cloud uploads, no quality loss. Personally, this is one of those changes that feels small on paper, but massive in real life. I still remember watching iPhone users casually AirDrop photos while I had to send everything as documents just to avoid compression. It always felt unnecessary and, honestly, outdated. Now, with QuickShare working across platforms, that awkward moment is gone. And if this feature really does land on the Pixel 9 series, it instantly makes those phones feel more future-proof. This isn't about copying Apple anymore. It's about removing artificial barriers. If Google expands this properly, choosing between Android and iPhone becomes less about ecosystem lock-in and more about actual preference. And that's exactly how it should be. What's your thoughts on this? Let me know in the comments section. See you in the next video. Take care.